Hello, my name is Ilona, and today it's Monday, November 7th, and it's of course the day before the midterms tomorrow, which is going to be a very important day. Of course, full moon, moon eclipse. I already looked at it yesterday in a video more about the energy of this week, and especially the dark energies will come out full force. We're really going to see that around us. But I've actually shared a message from Storm Rider on my Telegram channel, which I thought was very interesting. He mentions that it's going to be an awful, disastrous, voting. And this fits with an option that Simon Parks mentioned as well. I shared his video on Saturday, and there were like 6 options. And if I'm not mistaken, option 5 was that actually the Democrats are going to win. Well, of course, very much using corruption and things like that, but they are apparently will win, and then Mr. T most likely is going to be arrested, and that's going to be an immense shock. And he mentioned that it's necessary. Storm Rider mentions in his message it's necessary, so there will be new laws in place. And they, I think he shared this before, that it's important. He believes that the White Hats want to show again to the people how awful this corruption is going. It's similar to what's happening now in Brazil. People know that this isn't right, and they're asking the military to step in. So this is of course a possibility, and I just wanted to take a look at it. To be very honest, I have like this faith, this feeling this is going to be all right. So that's of course what I got in the energy as well yesterday in my card reading, that this will turn out fine. I have a feeling that whatever's going to happen, it will be fine. So there's of course this feeling of trust. But I wanted to look deeper if this is an option or not, and the information that Storm Rider mentions. So I of course shuffled the cards in my, I did that in my Dutch video. So if you want to see that, you can see me shuffling the cards in there. But the cards I got was the 8 of Pentacles. The central card, which is very interesting, it's the Moon. The 9 of Pentacles in the past. Underneath the Moon, we have the 6 of Pentacles. And then we have the 4 of Pentacles and the Page of Cups for the near future, the future. So it's vague. It's purposely vague what exactly is going to happen. I do believe they have a scenario. So to me, this really, I think there are only 2 options. Or there's going to be a red wave of Republicans, or the Democrats are going to win, of course. They're going to use certain methods to win, and that will... It's almost, there is a turning point. That's what this energy feels like for me this week. There is going to be a turning point. And I think it's up to decision the White Hats make how they're going to do that turning point. If they're going to do it with a shock, or if they're going to do it in a slower way. Like if the Republicans will get in, if there's going to be a red wave, that will put things in motion. If it's already mentioned by Simon Parks, most likely Mr. B will disappear, and they will most likely leave because of what has happened. So, and of course, if the Democrats will, get out on top, then the military will step in, because I don't think they're going to leave that on too long. I sincerely do not believe that they will let the Democrats take over in January. It's going to be a disaster. So I don't think the military or the White Hats, I'm talking about the White Hats then, are going to let that happen as well. So whatever is going to happen, it will be a turning point. So to me it feels like, especially because of the Moon, there is a lot of vagueness, like a lot of information out now that can be like, you can interpret in a lot of way, and it's done on purpose. I think they're doing this on purpose, but I still feel this trust. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. That's what I truly feel about this. And I do believe the midterms will happen. I don't have a feeling that there's still not a feeling that something suddenly is going to happen. So they will keep the midterm. So it will be, or it's going to be the Republicans or the Democrats. And then whatever of these options it will be a turning point. Things will change then. So it will depend, I think, which option will be chosen. But it is possible that they're going to go for the shock option, just to wake up even more people. But it's to balance things out. But ultimately, this is a chance to still show things, and to, put up boundaries. So whatever, if the Republicans are going to win, if there's going to be a red wave, it will change things. The things about the voting from 2020 will come out. You know, there will be investigations. Like I said, most likely Mr. B is not going to last very long with, if that will come out, if the red wave comes out. He'll have to leave, and things will start moving. Of course, if the Democrats will get on top, so to speak, then ultimately the military will step up. It will be a shock to people. I believe Simon Park mentioned that could feel like a near-death experience. Let's face it. If you know that it's not right, like in Brazil, so many people are fully aware that Lula did not win. So if that would happen, so if that would really create a shock, let's face it, that would be shocking if the Democrats would win. But it will put things in motion. So I do believe whatever's going to happen with the midterms, it will be a turning point. There will be no turning back after that. It will be, things will happen. So I think that's the main thing we should focus on, and have faith and trust it's going to be all right. That's the feeling I'm getting the entire time. I'm quite, very peaceful about this. It's going to be all right. In the end, it is going to be all right. So trust that. Just focus on that, because that's the best way to approach this. Whatever's going to happen, it will turn out fine in the end, and we should trust that, because then we start manifesting that. Trusting is a very high frequency, because you let go, you trust that God will take care of things. And of course you do what you have to do. Obviously, if you're in America, I strongly recommend to vote. Go out and vote. Do your thing, what you can do, and then let it go and trust that God will take care of it. There will be a good energy behind this ultimately. So in the end, it will turn out for the good of the American people. I fully believe that. But it's a turning point. So there's still some vagueness, some what's going to happen. But I do believe there are like two options. Or the Republicans are going to, the red wave is there and things are going to change. Or the Democrats, will win. And that will, of course, be because of the things they've done. And that will come out very quickly. So it's not going to, it's a turning point. I truly believe it's a turning point. I also looked at, because I've noticed my video, the reactions to my video yesterday, that maybe some support is needed in this time. So I just did a card reading just to support right now, because the energy is so intense, and I fully understand people that are frustrated. When are things really going to happen? I looked at it yesterday. So I just wanted to support. It's like more of how we can support ourselves. Well, these are the cards I got for that card reading. The Strength card. The central card is the Emperor. Card in the past is the Seven of Pentacles. Card underneath the Emperor is the Empress. And then we have the Star card and the Devil card, and I got an extra card to clarify with the Devil card, and that was the Nine of Pentacles. This is very interesting. We've got 5 major Arcana cards, so this period is really massive. It's very, very important to everyone around the world, for entire humanity. It's of course up to each and every one of us to really work with these energies. But this is really about, and this is so beautiful, we have the Emperor and the Empress. This is really about balancing the sacred masculine principle with the sacred feminine principle. That's what this is about. That will really put ourselves in our strength. We will become so strong if we are capable of balancing that. listening to our intuition, dealing with our emotions, our feelings, that feminine side, receiving, and listening to that intuition so we can really take steps. What do we need? What kind of decisions do we want to make? That is so important. It's a combination. It's not just rationally figuring out decisions and just follow that, or just in your emotions and follow that without anything practical or wondering how you should do that. Very important that we balance that. We need to balance this. Listen to our intuition, follow our intuition, and then see which the path we can take, which actions are necessary. Very, very important. And I also wanted to mention is about being realistic. I do get, not a lot of people, but some people saying that I'm not realistic, I'm too spiritual, or floating around in their minds. You have to be realistic. But being realistic usually means that you have to temper your expectations. You shouldn't dream too much. Especially when I was growing up, I always felt there were aliens, and no one in my family understood that, and everyone thought that I was crazy. I wasn't realistic. That wasn't truthful. Look at around you. There are no aliens, so then what you're thinking isn't correct. So being realistic, especially I think the dark energies really made sure of that, means that you just focus on what is now here. You have to be very practical. You just have to do your thing, follow what your family's always been doing, and stay in the rat race. Basically, that's usually what realistic means. You shouldn't think too much, shouldn't be so idealistic. It's not possible. You cannot change the world. You should just focus on the little bubble you're in right now. And I disagree, obviously. I believe it's very important that we are idealistic. And there is nothing wrong with being practical. I was raised practical. And to be very honest, I use those skills. If I have some problems, I can just look at it. Okay, how can I fix this? What can I do? Because I was raised so practical in a practical way, that's a great thing to look at things. So there's nothing wrong with being practical, but it has to be balanced with, of course, that feminine energy, with your intuition. That's why I strongly recommend be idealistic, dream, use your imagination. That's how we can change the world. If we are just realistic, and nothing's going to change, and it's very important that we change that. We can be practical about it. We can just look around, well, how do we want to change that? But it has to be aligned with our intuition. So it has to feel right for us to do a certain thing. If it feels right to us to vote, especially now in America, vote. If it feels right to us to start an initiative, then we should look, what can we do? How can we start an initiative? What steps can we follow? And I also believe if there's some desires you have, some things you'd really want to see in your life, then also just throw it out in the universe, but just send it out and trust that you will find your way how to create that. Because sometimes we don't have to know how things are being done. We just have to trust that it will happen. We truly have to believe that things can happen. We have this enormous power to create. But by being, sorry to say, realistic, we limit ourselves because we're only going to look at what is in our reality now. That is basically what being realistic is. And look around this reality. This is what there is, which limits us. So we won't open our minds to new possibilities, a new way of living, a new earth, new energy. What we want to create. We want to create this new world. That's why it's so important that we open ourselves up for this intuition, for imagination. Because when we create it in our minds, we can start creating and manifesting it in the world around us. That's how it works. So by being realistic, we limit ourselves, and we shouldn't do that. We can be practical. There's nothing wrong with being practical or grounding yourself, especially when you want to change the world. You need to ground yourself. You need to ground the new energy, but be open-minded. Just see where your fantasy, where your imagination takes you, and realize that you can create that and believe that. We truly need that. We need idealistic people. A long time ago, people didn't think we could fly, we could have airplanes. There were people, we can. they were not realistic. They decided they wanted to do something that wasn't done, at least in that time era. And of course, we have to see what history is truly about. But people that invent things don't think realistically, because otherwise they would have never invented it. So we really need to open our mind, really balance this beautiful energy with this feminine sacred principle with this male sacred, the masculine principle. Very important. Then of course we also have the star, so we are being protected from other spiritual realms, dimensions, and we can really truly trust it's going to be all right. And we have better times ahead. And of course, this is interesting. We have the Devil card. It's really about gaining our independence, really taking back our power, our belief. What do we believe? Where do we give our power away? And taking that back, being independent, because that's what this card is about. The Nine of Pentacles is about being independent, making our own decisions. And it's very, very important that we start really trusting our own intuition, trusting our own power, and that we can really change the world. We really, really can, but we have to be a bit more idealistic. We have to really open ourselves to all these beautiful possibilities that will change our world. By believing that's a possibility, that we can create that possibility, we will create that. So I want to leave that this. Hope to see you in another video. Bye.